Gotta go down the bank a little bit more, I guess. Oh! Oh! The buzzbait bass. That's what I'm talking about, son. Oh, that was funny. He hit it right at the boat. I was just getting ready to take out and hit another one. Come on. I know you didn't get a chance to fight. Come here. I got you. He came blasting right up in front of me and nailed that bait. Let me tell you something, folks. We're at Roosevelt Lake. It's the middle of the day when everybody thinks the topwater bite's not there. And guess what we're throwing? We're throwing a buzzbait made by Persuader American Angling. And this is a cool little buzzbait. I like it. We're seeing a lot of the dragonflies and stuff, you know, going across the water. And of course the water is coming down. That's the one thing I don't like about it, but it's showing a lot of brush. And we're gonna fish around some of that stuff and see if we can't catch some nice buzzbait fish. But this particular bait has a blade in a blade. It's got a little quad blade. It's a little plastic blade inside of a metal blade. And the noise this thing makes is unbelievable. It has, it's hard for me to describe it, but it's more of a whoosh type sound. When you see the bass chasing shad and you hear that, all the shad jumping out of the water, that whoosh that you get, that's the same sound that this thing makes coming across the water. It's not as loud as a regular buzzbait, but what's cool about it is I've tipped it off with a little Yamamoto grub there, chartreuse, to kind of match the hatch of the dragonflies and stuff that are coming across. There's blue ones and I've seen some big black ones. And boy, when I see those big black ones out with the little chartreuse on them, boy, I'll tell you, I'm gonna throw this and see what I can't catch. But what happens is that they're lower in the lake, but still it's going into fall and these fish are all over the place. You could catch them, like I say, spooning or cranking or spinnerbaiting or, you know, topwater's a lot of fun. And you get up there way shallow, you almost can't get shallow enough. I'm sitting in 2-3 foot of water with my boat, and I had another one come up and jump all over it and missed him. He kind of jumped over the bait. But we'll go down the bank and see if we can't catch a few fish on this thing. Now, I'll tell you, I'm using a brand new prototype rod from Taipan Rods I'm trying out for him, and it's a Buzzbait rod. And what I love about this rod, it's got a real flimsy tip on it. Not a real flimsy, but it's like a medium heavy rod. It's got a real stiff butt to it. You know, the backbone to it is unbelievable, but it's got just enough tip on it to where, like, when that fish just hit, the fish could suck the bait in where the hook's at, and the tip will flex just a little bit, but it's still stiff enough to be able to set the hook really good on those fish. Pair that up with a 65-pound braid line with a buzzbait and you're good to go. I'm gonna have to put a new grub on. They will tear those grubs up, but that's okay. Maybe I'll see if I can flip it over if it doesn't come on top of it. Nah, I've got to get a new one. But that's the ticket for today, and we're going to try to see if we can't catch some buzzbait fish, some topwater action for you today here at Roosevelt Lake. Got him. There he is. Come on. He's right up there next to those bushes. Not a giant, oh, I lost him. Not a giant fish, but he's right up there next to those bushes. Let's see if there's something else in there. Giving it too much. Oop, there. Try to get him out of those trees, but he was right there along those bushes, right along that line right there. You know, one of the tickets to even getting bit on this thing is what I like about this particular buzzbait that I'm throwing. It's a little bit different than an average buzzbait that you would normally take out of the package, just throw and reel it in. Every once in a while, I'm giving it a little twitch, just a little quick twitch to get it to do that whoosh sound. And that whoosh sound is what I think's attracting these fish to the bait, like it's running from them. You know, just a couple of twitches of the rod tip. And you know what's really important about throwing a buzzbait too, how to bring it back properly and stuff. First of all, I like to throw that buzzbait, get one that you can, you know, work it as slow as you can to keep it on top of the water. That's first and foremost before you start really cranking it across real fast. The other thing is that when you throw it out there, you want to, don't let your buzzbait sink. Try to time it when it's gonna hit the water and keep that bait up on top. So I'll throw it out there. Soon as it hits the water, boom, I've got my rod tip up, I've stopped my bait, and I'm bringing it right across the top right there. I'm not wasting any time of letting it sink down into the water column, because then it takes you 4 or 5 turns and you're pulling it 5 or 6 feet before you bring it back out of the water. So the thing that's really important is to keep that rod tip up when you cast. The problem with braid, and I love braid line on these buzz baits because you got instant contact, is you got to have a tip on your rod that it will allow the fish to suck the bait in before you set the hook. And sometimes you can get a little overzealous, a little fast on the hook set, and the fish doesn't get the bait all the way in his mouth because you see the blow up. That's one of the toughest things about throwing topwater, is you got to allow that fish to be able to turn its head. And it's even hard for me sometimes. So you got to let them turn or let them get that bait before you really set the hook. But what I love about the braid is I can set the hook, it's instant. But the other problem you have with braid is you got to be careful with is ripping the hook out of the fish's mouth, and because there's absolutely no stretch. Fence line coming in the water. See that? Ah! Nice fish. Oh, that's a good fish, folks. Ooh, I almost fell down. Oh, come on. Yeah, look at that fish, folks. You little buzzbait bass. Look at that, huh? Beautiful fish. Those are the kind of fish you catch up shallow this time of year, man. Look at how healthy that fish looks right there, huh? Beautiful Roosevelt Lake bass. Another thing nice about braid line, you can swing them in, but I'll tell you what, he tore that thing up again. I'll tell you, one of the reasons I like fishing shallow flats like this time of year is usually if you find those fish in the shallows like this, they're active, they'll hit, you know, they'll bite, and it's a lot of fun. You got to get up and try the flats once in a while, and it seems like we're getting on a little something here. They're around those bushes, and I'm doing something that not a lot of guys do, and that is I'm throwing a black buzzbait. And the purpose of that is listen, you can throw white if they're chasing shad. If you see them chasing shad, go to white, whatever. But because of the dragonflies on the water, things like that, you know, you could throw a frog, whatever. A lot of guys like to throw the black. This works just as well. And for some reason, adding this little chartreuse tip tail to it, where it wiggles on top of the water, they just blast it that much harder. And they see it, number one, we're in dingy water, okay? They see it really well, but they can feel that vibration, they're up shallow and they see that tail and they just clobber it. But black for me has been really good. I mean, I've had a lot of success on black, and I think a lot of us get caught up into the whites and the pearls and stuff like that, and they work great too. But in saying that, I've gone behind people with the black because the fish it's not something they don't see every day. But you know, we're catching a few fish doing that. But buzzbait fishing's a lot of fun to do, and in the fall, whew, midsummer even. And we're here in the afternoon. We're talking 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, you know, we're catching them. It's a bluebird day sky. The water's pretty much flat, and you wouldn't think that you'd get anything really on reaction, but hey, we're catching them on buzzbaits, and it's fun when you're fishing in this brush with buzzbaits. One of the reasons braid works really good in this stuff is because you're having to pull them out of a lot of this brush. And braid, you've got the confidence to do it with. Oh man, that's a good fish. Right there. Oh yeah. Those are the ones you want, baby. Yeah, look at there. Another buzzbait bass. I love it. When they come up and crush this bait, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. That is a beautiful little fish, but boy, look at the sore on his back. That eagle that was over there might have been trying to get that little dude here and there. But look at the size of his mouth compared to his body. He's a little hungry. That's why he's up here shallow eating. You know? You know, one thing to really think about when you're doing this kind of fishing is we have a flat, slick day today. And you know it's that time of year where the fish start schooling up. But you're gonna go to probably pockets and areas where you get bit, and then it slows down, and that's what's basically happened to us. So they're schooling up a lot of it, and especially after seeing the school that I saw, they're pretty much schooling up and roaming up and down the bank, and you hope to catch them just right. But the other thing is you know, the bait we're throwing today is a great bait for this calm, slick water. But I'm gonna say this, when you get into an area and you get a little chop on the water, a little bit of breeze, you might wanna go something a little bit noisier. You can go to those aluminum blades that chirp a little bit. You can go to some with clackers on it. And this blade is awesome. It still has a little squeak to it, but it's definitely great for my calm water, and I'm loving it. But I can tell you this, you know, we've even thrown the triple blade by Persuader, but you can also get some that make the noise, the squeak that you want for the heavier water. And what I mean by that is when the wind's blowing a little bit, you get a little bit of breeze, you want to make a little bit more noise, you can do that. Hey folks, for my tip of the week, one thing that's really important to remember about buzzbait fishing, it's not always just cast and wind, cast and wind, cast and wind. Remember, you can add a little action to that bait just by throwing it out there, bringing it in, kind of slowing it down and chirping it a little bit. I call it chirping it, however you want to do it, but giving it a few little tugs and keeping the blade going, but fast, slow, fast, slow. Things like that attract the bass, and it makes the bait look injured a lot of times. And they come up and crush it. I've caught so many fish doing that. So remember, you can throw it out there and just wind it in at a steady retrieve, but don't ever think that you can't do a little stop and go with that blade and make it chirp a little bit. I'll tell you what, you'll be a little bit surprised if you do that by a bush someday. Oh, oh, oh yeah! I saw that fish, folks. Yeah! Look how far. I was getting ready to bring that in. Look how far. I saw him come out from under this tree, and I slowed my bait down, and he came up and ate it. That's a 5-pounder. That's what I'm talking about, son. Look at that. I almost wish I hadn't showed this bait, man. That thing is awesome. It's a great bait. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can't believe how close that fish came. We've had 2 fish blow right up at the boat, and they're not afraid of all this. I mean, that's crazy. That's when buzzbait fishing gets fun, folks. I'll tell you what, you want a heart stopper? Throw a buzzbait all the way to the boat, and don't bring it out of the water real fast until you get right to the boat. When they blast it right at the boat, yeah, that'll get your heart pumping, baby. I love it. Oh my goodness, buzzbait bass. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, you see what lives in here? You see what lives in here? You see why you need the braid? You can throw this with 17 or 20 pound test fluorocarbon line, sure, go ahead. But I'm telling you right now, I'm glad I got the braid on in this stuff. What's so neat about this is calm enough how it comes across the water, and it really is not all that noisy. It's kind of a different kind of a presentation for a buzzbait for sure. So you'll have to check that out, but that's a heck of a blade right there for this calm water, without a doubt. And you can see it comes through the water so nice with the way that the head is made on these. You know, it's flat. So when you're reeling, you're not getting all that pressure against the bait at all. It just slicks right through the water really nice. I really love this bait. And it casts good. You know, I get a long cast on it. Makes a difference. And I'll tell you something else. Putting the grub on that helps with that. You want a little bit heavier cast. Even if you don't want the tail on it, you can still get a grub, put it on the shank of the hook, and tear the ribbon part of it off, and you can get a little bit heavier, and it'll make it a little bit more heavy so you can cast it farther. Got him. Got him. That's what I'm talking about, son. Come on. Little flick shake bass right there, folks. Little flick shake bass. I'm gonna tell you what happened right here. Oh my goodness. I pulled out my little flick shake rig because I saw a school of these bass running through here when I was throwing my buzz bait. All it is, that's exactly what it is right there. Just a little flick shake, man. I'm telling you. That's just a 1/4 ounce. I'm throwing a Cinco on it. And that fish came up and whapped it. And there's more in there. The thing is, there's a lot more fish in here. I don't want to spook them all, but I'm just wacky rigging it right there. And that fish came out and got it. Let's see if I can get another one. Let's see if there's another one in there for me. There was all kinds of them in there a minute ago. I ran over them and I'm like, they're chasing the buzzbait, but they're not grabbing it because we're right on top of them. So I pulled this out of my rod locker thinking, well, I've got something else I can try. And without even thinking, just pulled it out and thinking, well, a lot of times when you see them schooled up like that, you can catch them doing this. Oh, there he is. Another nice fish. And I was just getting back to the pocket of this grass. There we go. Got him. That's what I'm talking about right there, son. Stopped and chirped it. Stopped and chirped it. Come on. That's a good fish. Not a bad fish right there. He came up and ate it. I stopped and chirped it. Oh! Come on, fish. Don't do that to me. I'll tell you what, not a bad little fish. Buzzbait bass. You know, I caught that fish stopping and chirping it, and that's really cool. I'll tell you what, Roosevelt Lake offers a lot of different kind of fishing here this time of year, and you can have so much fun, like I said, from spooning to topwater. And if I can give you one piece of advice, don't ever be afraid to go in 2 to 3 foot of water, because those bass will get up on them flats and they'll be up in there chasing stuff. We just caught him out of the grass. Boat sitting in 3 feet of water. You can't be afraid to do that stuff. Just pull your motor up and watch your graph real close and have some fun. But you'll definitely catch some fish having some buzzbait fun right here at Roosevelt Lake. Thanks for joining us on the water. We'll catch you next week. I'm Johnny Johnson. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about, folks.